I'm Caroline,
And I'm Megan.
and this is
The Songwriter Diaries.
There was no way that was in time. That definitely was so off. But this is what you get when you're recording virtually
So true.
across the country, you know?
Absolutely. Welcome
It's our
back.
usual.
It's season motherfucking 9. Did you miss us?
I think so many people missed us. Well, we missed you all.
Even if you
Actually,
didn't
we
miss
just
us.
missed talking.
We did.
Clearly, we do it a lot. But this week, we had the lovely opportunity to talk to Thunderstorm Artis.
So fun.
And he's such a wonderful, oh my gosh. And he's such a wonderful person. We talked about his experience on The Voice.
Yes. And
And
singing a song for Grey's Anatomy,
yes.
having a baby. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't give birth, his wife did, but
Yeah.
so much happened for him in last year. It was crazy.
Yeah. He has had such an eventful life. And it was such a privilege to talk to him. So we're excited for you all to hear his story and about everything that he has coming up.
Oh my gosh, so many things coming up. New music on the horizon. A new song that he has not released is the song of the podcast. So make sure you listen to the end.
Yep, you don't want to miss it. And also, speaking of new music, I, Caroline Stump, have a new song coming out
Woo woo.
on 222 called Toxic Entanglement. And pre-save it if you want, and if you care about me. But even if you just don't want to, that's fine too. I've had so many people reach out and say that they don't have Spotify, so they can't pre-save, and it's hard for me to be mad at that because I'm like,
I know.
I know Spotify's not the best.
Ugh.
Sometimes,
It's the
I mean, I'm an
worst.
avid Spotify user, and I feel guilty about it.
I know.
But if you have Spotify, you can pre-save. I don't know how pre-saving works on anything else.
Me
I
either.
don't do any of that. So that's all I got. But I'm very excited. Meg, what's new with you?
Nothing much. I finally finished a song for like the what feels like the first time in forever.
For the first time in forever.
So that's exciting. And I'm getting back in the studio, so stay tuned for that. Mm. But I'm just really excited for the people to hear Thunderstorm.
Yes.
This is going to be a great episode and a great way to kick off season 9 of the Songwriter Diaries. I'm so proud of us.
Please tell me someone knows that reference.
Season 9?
Season 9? Meg, do you know that reference?
Is it Schmidt from New Girl?
Yes, thank you.
Thank
you.
God.
Oh, we can stay friends. Here's Thunderstorm.
Oh my gosh. Thunderstorm Artis. Hello. How are ya? You're
I'm
here.
I'm doing pretty dang good. It's been so long. It's been so long. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Thank you for chatting with us. We're so excited to share your story with all the pod people out there listening. So hello. Let's dive right in.
Let's do it.
So let's just start out by telling us a little bit about your backstory, how you got into music, all that stuff.
Well, you probably know it by now. There's something there that says my name is Thunderstorm Artis. In fact, it is my real name. My real name is actually crazy long. It's Thunderstorm Kahekili Mairani Artis. I come from a family of 11 kids, 6 boys and 5 girls, and we grew up in Hawaii. And I'm number 7. So by the time it got to me, my family thought to be a little creative with their names. But I go by Frank at Starbucks because they always get it wrong. But yeah, I grew up in a family of musician artists. My parents both met in Motown, and they just loved music from very early ages and come from a family of musicians. They moved to Hawaii, had our crazy family of 11 kids, and taught us music. And I was a homeschooled kid living in a little country town, just playing pretty much any instrument I can get my hands on. And you can find videos of me like barely looking over the bongos when I was like 7 on YouTube if you look up Ron Artis Family Band. But all that to say is like I grew up with a huge immersely love for music. Music was such a passion and such an escape for me, like through all the craziness of life. And then when I was 13, my father like passed away suddenly, and music became just like a saving grace for me. It became a way for me to, I don't know, voice a lot of my emotions and things like that. I wasn't the best as an introverted kid growing up of like, just really sharing on what's going on inside. But when I found music and a guitar, like I could just share that emotion and it just flew out. And I used to just do it for myself. But then I started to realize that there are other people who felt that way or felt that way about different things. And I was able to give them a voice. And my mom was like, dude, this is something you should be doing. So my older brother took me under his wing, and I've been playing music professionally since I was pretty much 16 years old. I've traveled all over the world. And this last couple of years, it's been really fun to see a lot of growth in it. Got to tour some really big names and whatnot, but I'm sure we're going to talk about more of that on this podcast. I don't want to just lay it all out there, but my story is, it's a cool one. It's a layered one. So hopefully it inspires somebody.
Aw, yes.
Boom. How was that
Wow.
for an intro?
That was
my-
so good. You killed that.
I'm still stuck on the 11 kids part.
That's-
11.
Same mom, no twins. They thought I was going to be a twin. So my dad wanted one thunder, one storm. And nope, I was just a fat dude.
Oh, that'd be so cute. I was
Yep.
just a fat baby.
That's what they said. And that's the story that they continue to tell me. And now that's why I'm skinny.
So
Eating and drinking lots of sugar constantly.
are all of your siblings involved in music in some way, or
Yes.
wild?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's pretty wild. It's crazy. I mean, I have one brother who's at a similar level to me, if not higher, who's my oldest brother. His name is Ron. And we were just both playing in the same festival here in Portland. And I have to tell you, like, it's the best thing ever. Like having a profession that your siblings do as well, because you guys hold each other accountable, you push each other to grow, and then you get to do what you love with the people you love. And that's the best thing ever.
That's so cool.
I love that. That's incredible. And
Thank
props
you.
to your mom.
Oh,
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I realize how much she did for us. And now that I am a father of a 6-month-old baby, I really know what she did. And she did it 11 times.
Yeah,
So
you want to do that 11 times?
props.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm all about big families. My wife, not so much. So we're gonna figure it out one kid at a time. So
Your wife's doing the heavy lifting of the kids. So
I'm like, babe, I'll feed him. I'll give him some water bottles. I'll do all the things we need to do. She's like,
He's
yeah,
like,
but you're not gonna carry him for 9 months.
Yeah, you carry for 9 months. 99 months that your mom was pregnant. Just
wow.
process. I'm still processing that. As someone who never wants to be pregnant, I'm like, that is wild. Wild.
I'm not gonna tell you what you should and shouldn't do, but I would say this: like having a kid is the best thing I've ever done. I've played on huge stages in front of lots of people. I've been on TV. I've done all this stuff and so many cool accomplishments. But looking down into a kid's eyes and seeing yourself looking back in this like perfect human is the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. And for a dude that had a very thick skin, this little baby cut right through it. So just saying that.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
you
God, I
also
have tears in my eyes.
you were blessed with one of the cutest kids on the planet.
Oh,
If I have
believe me, I said that when he came out.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought all babies were born ugly. This kid looks good.
Yes.
Let's sign him up as
I
a
know.
model. Like new Gerber baby. Here we are.
If I had a kid and it came out not as cute, I'd be like, okay, well, I wasted 9 months of my life.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding. I
did say this is a very bad joke, but I told my wife, I was like, if he comes out and he's not cute, I'm gonna put him back in and say he's for a little bit longer, and then
He needs to
Like,
cook.
she hate that joke, so
Yeah.
I will not tell that again. But now it lives here on the podcast. So.
Yeah. So, what does your songwriting process look like day to day? I know you're playing a lot of shows, touring a lot. Does that influence your songwriting at all?
Yes, I would say hugely. I think my pops, before he passed on, he gave me the best advice when it came to songwriting. He would say, you have to make sure you're living life. He said, because if you're not living life, you have nothing to write about, or else like what you write about is not who you are and it's not true to who you are. So there's going to be no merit to it. There's going to be no heart to it. And so I try to just live a good life, try to work a lot. My writing process, I mean, there's probably 3 different ones. I just started in the last year writing with other writers in Nashville. Before that, I wrote all my stuff, just me. And it was just like life lessons, things that I've learned, things I've experienced, things that I'm learning or or questions that I had. A lot of it's built around my faith and my story. And yeah, I usually will start off. I mean, one of the basic ones I would say, like, I would start off, I love melodies. So like, I would say lyrics were never my super strong suit, but melodies and chords and stuff was. So I would always improv something, just come up with something, like figure out where I wanted to go directionally, record it. Voice memo is my best friend. Any writers out there know exactly what I'm talking about. And you get it down, and then you listen to what you kind of are processing. That's what kind of comes out when I kind of improv, like what I'm processing inwardly. And then I'm like, okay, let's make sense of that and let's write a song if there's a song here. And so that used to be like the style that I grew up writing always. The other style is definitely coming up with a story, an idea of what you want to write, building out around, building instruments, coming up with the lyrics, and then like building the music around it. And that's been a lot of fun. That's been kind of what I've been doing with the guys in Nashville, and just kind of pounding it in there. And just, it's been so much fun. Music is, it's a beautiful thing. And it's crazy what you can do with 7 notes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so true. So you said that your songwriting was really based on like lessons and things you had learned. How has it evolved? Like, what inspires your songwriting now, especially now that you're co-writing more? Like, what does it look like now?
Well, we just what was it? The last one I just wrote was just kind of like the latest one I released is called Stronger. And that one is kind of like, as I get older, I start to understand a lot more of the teachings that I grew up with. And I mean, everyone kind of knows that you kind of start to reflect on your past. And that's something I always do every year. Like, it's the beginning of the year for me. So I'm starting to reflect on what happened last year, what happened the year before, and where am I now? And a lot of my songs are kind of about that. And that song Stronger is based off of a lesson my dad used to tell me. He was talking about compromise. He said, compromise is, I'm gonna use a sports analogy. That's what he used to do. He said, compromise is like kicking a field goal in football. He said, if it leaves your foot like a centimeter off from the direction you're going for, by the time it reaches the goal post or the post there, it's going to be way off. He said, that's how compromise is in your life. He said, it's going to be a lot of things that are going to come at you, and it's going to want you to compromise a little. And so that song Stronger was just me kind of telling my mom and my family that, hey, like, I'm praying that I'll stay strong and kind of carry on through these things, and kind of made it like an anthem for me. And that's what that song's about. And it got really cool. It was on this show called Grey's Anatomy, and I got to write that from top to bottom. It was just one of those things that just kind of just poured out, and just really cool. So that's like one of the ideas of kind of like what I'm processing, what I'm thinking about, and turns into a song. And the idea of like building a melody around it and trying to find like poetic way of like taking something like that compact, and how much can we dig into this? How much can we bring it out? And how much can we turn it into something that's universal that people can relate with?
Okay, so love everything you just said. Oh my God.
You just glazed over the fact
Yeah,
that that song was in Grey's Anatomy.
Just a small thing.
Yeah,
So
just a small show. You heard of it? Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Grey's Anatomy, and I had no idea that your song, I like hadn't seen your Instagram before I had seen the episode. And so I'm like watching the episode because I love Grey's Anatomy. There, I said it. It's like one of my favorite shows. And I was like, I heard this song coming on, and I was like, man, that sounds like Thunder. And then I was like, wait a minute, I think that is Thunderstorm. And then I looked up the credits on like Google, and I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
he got a song in Grey's Anatomy. This is so cool.
It was insane. It was really cool because like I had written the song, and then I played it for like this video. You can actually find like the original version of it on my Instagram. There's like a minute clip of it. It's like a black and white video. Literally, I wrote it like 3 days before that. And then we went to go shoot these like live music videos for all these other songs. And then I recorded a version of that, and then went to Nashville and cut it like that the next week. And then the week after that, because of like my publishing or whatever, Grey's Anatomy heard it before it was even released. And they were like, we love this song. Can we have it in the show? And I was like, wow. Okay. So then like, so that's why there's the 2 versions. And like, it's just really cool. And it's just like a really cool thing of kind of like, you create things and you write things from the heart. And like, and you just see other people that appreciate that authenticity. And it means a lot to me.
Yeah. So are you signed with a publisher? And is your publisher based in Nashville?
No, I'm not signed with a publisher. It was actually my producer, and he signed to, I want to say this, called Yellow Dog, a Big Yellow Dog, something like that. And so me and my producer worked on it, and then they heard it through that his company that he was signed to, whatnot. So I have a label that I might be signing
Wow.
with soon. We're not entirely sure. It's in the works, but I right now primarily just have an agency and a management,
Mm.
and then just a lot of hard working me and my family.
Yes. So was this your first experience with sync and having one of your songs get to television or film?
Yes, yes and no. Yes, because I had all the stuff on The Voice, and so I
Oh,
got to have a lot of
yes.
that stuff that's still considered sync. And then my
Mm.
brother played a song that we both played together, but I wasn't on the video. He was there, just
Mm.
hanging out. And it's one of our songs from our old album called What Music Means to Me. It was actually on Magnum PI. The new version of it
Wow.
that they shot in Hawaii. Well, I think the old
Oh,
version was in Hawaii too, but I could be totally wrong.
That's
Cute.
awesome. Like, do
So
you have, I mean, these sound both like kind of like random occurrences. Like, you didn't plan for it to go into the sync pool at all. But do you have
I,
any advice for people who want to write for shows, film?
yeah, I mean, there's a whole team around it. And what I'm learning now, like as I'm beginning to, write a couple more for sync and things like that, it's like they're looking for fresh music. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
all in this industry is all about relationships. So like going places like Nashville or LA where the film and TV industry is huge. So definitely like, if you know someone who works in there or you don't know someone, keep writing things and try to write things that that might really work with a scene or something like that. And then just kind of submit them. And once you get connected, those people will kind of reach out to you and ask you like, hey, do you have anything like this? Do you have anything like that? Let's see if we can work it in. And
Yeah.
but this, I mean, you guys know you work somewhat in the music industry. Like this whole business is all about relationships. So it's the right place, the right time, and just make sure that you're prepared for when the opportunity presents itself. So keep working on the craft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's great advice. I also think that I read this article that my dad sent me the other day about music sync in film and how in film and TV so many people want to get songs that sound like bigger artists but they can't afford it
Yeah.
because obviously it would cost the hundreds of thousands if not millions of dollars to get a sync from a certain song.
Yeah, you're like, I want to get
So
John Legend singing All of Me. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
it's
gonna
like
be a
yep, that's
couple
gonna
mil.
cut in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna cut into the budget. So
There goes my filming budget for the whole film.
yeah.
I guess we're
Yeah.
we're
So
doing
now
the
they're
animation.
yeah. So now they're looking for covers and for, sounds like this artist. So I think that's great advice to
Yeah, and then there's a lot of songs that I think I'm using the right terminology. There are like now public domain songs or songs
Yeah.
that like are available for you to cover and release and you don't have to pay royalties on.
yeah.
And so a
Mhm.
lot of people are looking for a new artist to re-envision or cover those songs and things like that. So that's definitely another
Wow.
avenue. That's definitely an avenue that I've entertained. I haven't done. I usually, if I don't do a lot of cover music, and if I do cover songs, it's ones that I genuinely enjoy and love and adore, and want to come out with a version of it that I think I can add a little bit. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's just my cup of tea. But if you love to cover songs and whatnot, like talk
Yeah.
to some of these people, industry people, and ask them like, hey, are there certain songs that like you guys are looking for that you like that maybe you want a newer version of? And
Mhm.
there's definitely, it's a music industry and you'll get as much out of it as the harder you work and things like that. And it pays well. So it's not that
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of covers, and The Voice, you mentioned you were on The Voice.
Yeah.
You
Again, just
did-
glossed over that fact
Yeah,
that you were a finalist. Finalist on The Voice. Okay.
I didn't say that, but I was.
No,
a
but I'm
finalist.
I'm adding the finalist part because you deserve that. You
Thank
Yeah.
you
Thank
did
you.
that. You did
Mhm.
that. Amazing. And
I-
deserved.
So
I do have a thing though. Like I try, reason why I kind of just graze over it is because it's like growing up with a family of musicians, like not just my immediate family, but my uncles, my aunts, my great uncles, my great aunts, like my grandfathers. Like one thing that like I never wanted to be is someone who's always talking about their past accomplishments,
Mhm.
and not what they're doing in the present.
Mhm.
Because it's easy for me to be like, yeah, I was a finalist in season 18 of The Voice, and then it's like season 32.
Mhm.
And you're like, okay, what have you done next? And
Yeah.
so like I've always tried to find that way of kind of like, yes, like I did that. Awesome. That's something I can put there and hang up there. Now what's the next thing?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
realistically, if you're a musician in the industry, you understand that like the whole industry, it's like spikes. You get these really cool exposure moments, But then if you don't go make anything of it, that's just what it is. It's an exposure moment. And so we've just been looking at just that. So like, I just want to like any hardworking musicians out there, if you guys are watching this podcast, like, you know, work hard. Like the voice is really cool. Only one person wins it, but you get an awesome exposure. So make sure that, you know, you have a lot of stuff in store and planned for what you're going to do afterwards. And that's just what you're going to get the most out of. That's what the coaches said to me and was super inspirational. And it's been really cool to kind of work that and bring that into my everyday life.
Yeah. Who
I
was your
remember-
coach?
Yeah, who was your coach?
Well, John Legend and Nick Jonas. So, not too bad.
No. Yeah, I think you chose well. Oh my gosh. Are they nice?
12-year-old Megan would have flipped out at Nick Jonas for sure.
Yeah. Are they
Nick
nice?
Jonas is dope. Like,
Are they nice?
Yes.
They
Yeah,
are. They're
they
nice.
yeah, they're
Okay.
very nice. I'll be
Okay,
honest.
good.
I thought Nick Jonas was going to be like super like pop star, kind of like, you know, I'm big into life.
Right?
But he was so humble. He was like
Wow.
so humble, so kind, and just so intentional. Same thing with John Legend. Like, it's really cool getting to know him on the show. He was really like, you know, just very focused, and it was just good to be around that energy. That's what I needed musically, was someone to kind of tell me, like, you know, because if you're around your friends and you're around people, this is another thing. Everyone's going to tell you how good you are. Everyone's going to tell you you're the best thing they ever heard, that song that you played was the best song they ever heard written, and you brought them to tears. And or maybe they don't say that, but or else you bring them to tears in a bad way. Well, all that to say, like, no, where am I going with this? Come on, I'm 3 hours of sleep. All that to say is that you want to be around people who are actually going to give you good criticism. And that was really good about John. I love the fact that he kept me grounded and he gave me good criticism. And when I made mistakes, he would let me know about that. But then meeting him after the show, I got to do a concert with him in Seattle. And it was just really cool to kind of see him outside of that and just kind of connect more on a personal level. And that was just really cool. It's like, wow, these are like real human beings who are doing this thing, who have made a living out of this. And it's a lot of hard work, what they do day in and day out. And so it's inspirational for someone like at my level to see the people that are way ahead of where I want to be. And just like, okay, cool. Now I know what it takes to get there.
Yeah, that's great. Man, you're so wise. You're full of wisdom.
Like I said, I was a super introverted kid growing up. So all I did was just hang out with my dad and people 3 times my age and just sit and listen. And I love chess. I love to think. And for everyone who's like, also like, I didn't think that anything that I had to say had a value until I was like 18. Like, so like, I didn't talk much. And so then my grandma was like one of the people who always be like, dude, you need to listen to what's in your heart and just kind of speak from there. And so I thank you for saying that I have wisdom, but I think it's just a lot of lessons that I've learned from a lot of people who are just amazing people that have poured into my life.
Yeah, that's great.
You're so humble.
Yeah, wow. Also,
You're like,
so
everything I've learned isn't me, it's everyone else. But like, you're so cool. Do you know
Thank
how
you.
cool you are? You are cool.
Thank you. I hope I'm cool.
You are cool.
Fine. Is that
You
what the
are
kids
cool.
say nowadays? That
Yeah, you're
I'm
cool.
lit.
You're hip.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
You're hip.
I'm lit.
You're gonna
They're
play
like,
this
no,
back.
that was 5 years ago. We don't say lit anymore.
You're gonna play this for Ezekiel and be like, see, people think I'm cool. When
Yeah, they
Ezekiel's
think
like,
I'm
"Oh
cool.
my
They think your
gosh."
dad is cool. Watch me dance.
Yeah.
Right in
Like,
here.
"Dad,
Just like
you're
Hitch.
so
Keep it right
lame."
in there.
Well, okay, so going back to The Voice a little bit, what was your favorite performance? And like what was your experience like, especially being a songwriter?
Yeah.
And like I would say like a songwriter first. What was that like for you?
I mean, it was really cool. I mean, my favorite performance was definitely my first one. Blackbird. It was really cool. It was a song that I just love. And I didn't know all the backstory behind that song. So as I began like learning it, and then because that was actually one of the songs that I presented to the show, which is really cool. Like, so they have these, if you ever done The Voice, the blind audition is not your first audition. It is your first audition before the coaches, but you do like 4 auditions before that. And so I played Blackbird on one of those, and like all the producers loved it. And they were like, no one has ever done it on the show. Can you do it and do it just like that? And I was like, whoa, okay. So that's why like that performance is just me. And then Paul Malkovich was the guy who joined on piano, and he just joined the second half. And So that was really cool. And I have a habit of closing my eyes when I sing. So if you go back and watch that video,
Same.
you ever wonder if I get nervous? I'm singing the first half of my eyes closed. And I remember what my stage coach told me. She's like, you don't need to close your eyes. People need to see into your soul to see what all this stuff is happening. So you need to look into the camera. And she's like, don't look at your hands. It's not important what you're doing. I was like, have you ever played Blackbird? You're all over the fretboard. So you're like, so I'm like, eyes closed. And then I open them and then like all the chairs are turned and they're staring at me. So then you can go back and listen. I think it's like halfway through the performance, this vibrato just starts going like crazy in my voice. I'm just like, don't mess it up. You got them all looking at you. If they can turn back around, maybe they will. But that was probably my favorite. And then as a songwriter, I got to perform an original song on the show. And that was probably just a super proud moment for me on many different levels. And like I played this song, it's called Sedona. I wrote it while I was on The Voice. Fun fact about the story. I wrote the song and I actually never been to Sedona when I wrote it. I was writing it and there was a magazine in my room and on the cover it said Sedona. And I was like, that'll make a dang good chorus. And so it became the chorus of the song. But really what it was about was like missing home. And for me, growing up in Hawaii, it wasn't really the ocean that I missed. It was the mountains and hiking and just kind of being out in God's wilderness and just listening to just nature. And so Sedona kind of embodied that for me. So that's what that song was. And so there was a moment where we got to either share an original song if they liked it, or we got to choose one of the songs from Songland and kind of perform that as an original song. And I was one out of 2 artists that decided to do one of their own original songs. And I got to work with a producer named Ryan Tedder, which was really awesome. He was super cool, super chill, listened to the song and he was like, dude, I think it's so great. I'm just going to add some piano and cello and I don't think I need to do anything else. And I was like, that just means a lot coming from people like that, like high up in the industry that listen to your music and you get that validation. I think it really solidified a lot for like a small town kid like me, like writing music and not knowing what the people at like the top tier would think about it. Like, and I'm sure there's a lot of people like that, you write this music and you're like, oh, so-and-so heard this. I don't know if they're ever like it. So having people that you admire and respect, listen to your music and be like, dude, I dig this, really meant a lot. So that was probably one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, especially from someone who's heard so much music in their life and, and criticized so much music and, like worked on so much. So that's amazing.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I was like, sick. Well, does that mean you want to write with me more, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe someday, maybe a couple more years in the industry and we'll see what happens.
Yes. The sky's the limit,
Yeah, it is.
So,
you put your mind to it and you think and you work hard and it's really cool. And it's just, I always think like if you put good things out into the world, good things come back to you. And I tell you, like, I've worked so hard for a lot of things, but the moments that I kind of sit back and just like, I don't know what I'm doing, the biggest thing falls in my lap. So just saying that, like, it's not all about how hard you work for stuff. It's about just, just sometimes sitting there and realizing that something bigger than you is helping open those doors for you.
Yeah.
There's another little nugget.
Wow, so many nuggets. I hope people are taking notes out there.
Yes. I'm like, okay. Noted. Remember? Wow.
You see those Instagrams where the girls are like touching the pages and they put it in their heads trying to like receive the knowledge from the books. I'm like, that's how I am sometimes. I'm like, okay, stay in my brain. Don't forget
stay in.
Remember this. So I know you don't like to talk about your past and your proud moments because you're so humble and you're focused on the next thing, but I want to know what you're proudest of so far in your career specifically, because obviously your personal life, you have so much to be proud of too, but professionally.
Well, I got to play my dream venue last year.
Wow. What was that?
The Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you should have came down for that.
I know. Well,
I did a horrible job of letting my friends
know.
I was opening for Train. I got to tour with them for 3 months and it was amazing. I played so many crazy venues that were on my like 5-year list. And I got to play it. Like I literally wrote out the goals. In 5 years, I want to play here, 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 here. And then, like I said, it was like, God was like, you think in 5 years, here you go. It's happening. And I was like, oh,
it's happening right now.
I hope I'm ready. So yeah, I got to play it and it was the most surreal experience. So much history
Wow.
in the grounds there, so much history there. And it was just, I've watched so many videos of iconic artists that I love and admire play there. And so getting to play there, I just felt like, man, like this is cool in front of thousands of people. Um, that was insane. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I remember, I don't even know if I knew about it before. And then you posted about it or something after. And I was like, oh my God. I live like 30 minutes away.
no, I had a couple of friends be like, dude, you didn't tell me. I was like, no, I told you like a month ago. They're like,
Yeah.
dude, you need to like tell me like when you're getting there. And I was like, yeah, I totally spaced. It was like
Yeah.
tour bus life. My wife was
Yeah.
getting ready to, no, she had just given birth already. So she was able to come
Yeah.
for those shows. But that was the last show of
So
the
many
train
things
tour.
going on.
Oh,
Mm.
dude, talk about chaos. My last years have been utter chaos, but it's been
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
But you'll
So
be
much
back at Red
change
Rocks.
all in one. Yeah, hopefully
Yes.
I will.
No, you'll be back. No, you will
Absolutely.
be.
There you
100%.
go. She's like, speak that into existence.
You
It's
got it.
happening.
Manifest that.
We are speaking it into existence this year.
So Red Rocks, you hear me? Bring me back.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We called
But
them
yeah.
live.
That it's probably my proudest moment. I mean, that, and I got to play the Gorge, which was awesome.
Wow.
Amphitheater with Jack Johnson.
Wow.
And then I got to meet Prince Harry and Meghan. They're at the Santa Barbara Bowl show that I did with Jack Johnson. They were side stage, and I was like, what is my freaking life right now?
Okay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is so funny and
When I say
ironic.
chaos, like my year has
No.
just been the most insane, crazy thing, one thing after another. I'm just like, I'm not supposed to be here. This is not.
No, this is so weird because this morning
We were literally talking about Prince Harry and Meghan
No
Yeah.
way.
this morning because we've been recording episodes all day. And I'm reading Harry's book right now, and I watched their documentary, and I love them. And
How is the documentary? I haven't checked it out yet.
Oh
I
my
heard
God,
there's a lot of
so good.
sauciness in there.
Oh my God, the tea was spilt, and it is scalding hot.
I was just looking at Twitter and I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
man, it's about to go down.
So
That
the
is
fact that
so
you
weird.
mentioned that is so funny because we were literally just talking about it.
Yeah, for like 30 minutes, we were discussing the royal family this morning. So
Yeah.
Oh, look at
that's
this.
wild.
It was, man, it was so wild. And
Were they
then
nice?
they were so cool. It was so sweet. They were holding my, like, honestly, this is how it happened. So I didn't know why, but there was like a moment where they're like, okay, no one's allowed to be side stage. And I was like, okay. Then they're like, oh, people are allowed to be side stage. And so then I was down in my green room hanging out with my sister-in-law, Yulia, and she gets a photo from my older brother because we were doing that tour together. And there's this lady holding their youngest child. And Yuli's like, who's this woman holding my baby? And then she looks at it and she's like, that's Meghan. Megan's holding my baby. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, we got to run up there, but we got to act like super nonchalant and just kind of just hang out, just, show up and just like, oh, you're here. Oh, you look like that guy that I know. Like, just, has anybody ever told you how much you look like Harry? And then I did that when I met, what's his name? There's this country singer. Man, it's going to come back to me and I'm hating that I don't know it. He's like another Black country artist. He's like young. He's a big one. He's Kane Brown. Is it Kane Brown?
Yes.
Yes.
That sounds
I
right.
ran into him randomly in the airport in LA during COVID, mask on, everything. And like me and my wife were standing in line and he's there with his dad or somebody, but he had this mask on. And I was like, dude, I bet that's Kane Brown. And she was like, no, it's not. I was like, yeah, look, that tattoo on his neck. I bet it's him. But I was like, man, how do we find out so that no one tells me that I'm lying or whatever? So I walked up to him and I was like, dude, has anyone ever told you how much you look like Kane Brown? He was like, I am him. I was like, that's what I thought. Hey, brother, I love what you do, man.
That's so iconic.
I'm stealing that from now on. If
I
ever
should just
say
pretend
thank
like
you
I
to
was on
celebrity.
FaceTime and like videoing the whole time, like, oh, and now I'm here and this is my good friend Kane. We're just doing nothing. But yeah, so that's just,
hilarious.
my life is just random weird occurrences happening one thing after another. And yeah, I don't know.
Wow, amazing. Okay, so we've talked about what you're proudest of. We've talked about all your accomplishments. So now we're gonna move into the future, just as you like. And so what are some goals that you have for yourself in the next 5 years?
Man, this is literally, I talk about, I'm looking forward to the future. It's one of the hardest questions for me, if I'm being honest. Because the reason why is like, I set goals, I set these things, and then like I start to like hit them and do them sometimes sooner than I wanted to, or sometimes they start to change. And like, I love what I do. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, and I love it. I mean, now forming the band and being able to kind of tour, like I would love to be able to get, pretty more like consistent with it, with like the bigger shows, the bigger things, and just the following across the whole state, and like be able to, not just that, like I want to go over to the UK. Like I'd love to do shows over there. It's just some of my favorite artists come from over there. But yeah, I mean, finding a solid label would be really amazing. A label that I can kind of call my home for a little bit and build a future there, writing better music, having a band to be able to tour around and headline and play arenas and things like that. I mean, if I can do that in 5 to 10 years, that would be amazing. Especially now, because it's like, cool. Like I want to be able to be busy and do these things, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what life is going to look like in 5 years. So it's tough.
That's cool. Do you have any new music out or coming?
Yeah. I have some new music coming soon. I've got some new music coming out next month. It's this single that's coming right around Valentine's Day. That's called Surprise. And it's pretty much about me and my wife when we met. If you don't know, we got married 4 months after knowing each other.
I wondered if it was kind of fast. I love that though.
Oh, we moved quick. We got engaged 2 months after we met. What is it? Like a week after I met her, her father gave me his blessing.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I was like, all right, that's cool.
Okay.
It was like we met. We met at this concert. I was on Hawaii, just doing whatever I was doing. Like The Voice had me out there doing interviews. It was during 2019, the craziness, and met her randomly. She knew my family, and then slipped into my DM, sent me some Bible verses, asking how she can pray for me and everything. And then one thing led to another. We were all at a movie together, and then we just figured out that our values and things were all aligned. And I was just wasn't someone that just was interested in just messing around. And I was like, "You moving to Australia? This isn't ever going to happen." And she was like, "No, I think like this is what I want." And so we just kind of decided to kind of send it. And then her dad asked me, "Hey, what are your intentions on my daughter?" I was like, "Dude, I think she's the best thing ever, and I want to marry her someday." And he was like, "Well, yeah, my blessing." And I was like, "Whoa, okay, dope." And then one thing led to another. I flew to Australia for 6 weeks, and we got engaged, and then we got married during COVID, a little quicker than we thought, but it's been the best 2 years of my life.
Oh,
wow.
And so she's from Australia?
She's from Australia.
Wow.
So she's got an accent and everything, and it's the best thing.
Yeah.
And she sings as well. So that was just like the cherry on top for me. So we do shows together sometimes, and we both usually sing at church together. And so we're hoping our little baby boy's going to be musical. I don't know how I ended up on that story. You asked me another question, and
new music.
New music. So yes, Surprise is about how we met, pretty much. It's about how she came into my life as a surprise, and kind of just broke down a lot of the walls that I kind of had up in a time when I was least expecting it.
Wow.
So yeah, all that to say
that is so cute.
Wow. Yeah, I saw you in person. You like came to Denver and played a show at somewhere. I don't remember where. But
was it?
What's the?
Was it the one I did with Joel Asset?
Yes, Anset.
Yeah,
or
dude.
Anslet. Yes.
I think
he's so good.
He's so good. That dude is uber talented, man.
So good. And you came over and we were just hanging out, and you're like, yeah, it's on the down low, but like I'm on The Voice. and then you were, I think you mentioned something about Faith
You're
too.
not supposed to say that. That got out. I would have kicked off the show. No.
And then, literally fast forward, and then it's COVID, and then you're married and you have a baby, and you've been on The Voice, and you have a show on Grey's Anatomy, and so it's just been so fun to watch you completely flourish and bloom.
So did I say that a lot of chaos in the last 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have
Literally,
a baby.
Kaboom.
Just to add. You just decided, you know what my life needs? A baby.
Yeah.
Let's just full send.
Just can't call it right now. I just don't know. Is this too much? Let's just see if we can have a little more. Nah. I think it might just be my like ADD or whatever. Like, I just need more things happening just to drive me crazy.
Totally.
Yes, that's incredible. And it's awesome that, your wife is so supportive of you. And
Mm.
I'm sure vice versa, from what I can tell of you as a person, you are also supportive
Oh,
of her
thank
and
you.
her dreams. So
No,
that's
I don't care
amazing.
about her dreams. Like,
Nah.
between generations, I was like, babe, put it on a back burner. 20 years later, not joking. Nah. No, I mean, I think it's important, right? Because it's like, I mean, I'm a Christian, so it's like always about putting others above yourself. And so I think, marrying my wife and understanding and finding out what are her wishes, her goals, and the things she wants to do, and being able to support her in that, and hopefully a way that she's never been supported, I think is a really special way. We've both been able to love each other and help each other grow in ways that we hadn't before we met. And that's been probably the most special thing about our relationship. We're both pretty hard-headed, strong-willed people. And that's what I love about her. She's not afraid to tell me what it is and what it isn't. And so, yeah, I think that's important when you have someone that can keep you honest and who's brutally honest with you but supports you fully. There's nothing more special than that.
Wow. Well said.
Megan, you're that person for me right now.
Aw, I love that.
There you go.
That's
There
so
you go.
sweet. Aw.
Megan's like, I have Colin, so
No, you're that person for me too.
It's like when you say, "Oh, you're my best friend." Oh, really? That's so amazing. And you're like,
so much.
you didn't say it back. No, I'm just joking. It's fine.
It's like all those scenes in TV shows and movies where someone's like, I love you, and they're like, thanks.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much. Me too. I love Me Too so much.
Oh my gosh.
That's so kind of you that you love me. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Owen Wilson. Wow, you love me.
Wow.
So we have reached the final question of the podcast.
Crazy.
Dun, dun, dun.
And this is our hardest hitting question. Why do you write songs?
I mean, there's so many different reasons. It's therapy for me. Writing music is definitely, I think music is an outpouring of what's going on internally in your life and in your soul and in the works of who you are. And music has always been the way for me to be able to pour that out. And through that process, there's a lot of stuff that like I didn't know that I needed to face or experience. And I've learned that through writing music. I would say that's one huge reason. Other reasons that, man, I don't know what my life would be without music. I have this song that's called What Music Means to Me, because I was like, it's my heart and my soul and I'll never let it go. It's one of the first songs that I wrote when I was like getting serious about music. And what it was is I actually had put down music for a year because I thought music was something that I just did. But when I realized that music was actually part of who I was and a part of the inner workings of me as a being, and I believe that us who are musicians in the world, we're chosen to be that. We're chosen to be messengers in a way. And it's a gift that is given to you, but it's not for you. It's for others. And so I think it's my calling to do this, and that's why I do it. And it's been really cool to write songs that minister to me, but then I also watch how it ministers to people. And I was like, man, if I can contribute something to this world that makes it just a little bit better, then I've got to give it my all. So that's why I write.
Wow, what a great answer. Jeez.
I was like, how do I put it all out there and lay it down? So
you got it. You boom, shakalaka, done.
That was beautiful.
Wow.
Amazing.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes.
Glad we can finally make this work. I think this is the third try, something like that.
Yeah, you've been busy. And we've been slacking. So
I'll try to sing this song. It's a song that's going to be coming out pretty soon. It's called Love in the Dark. And there's a little falsetto part in it that I won't do. So we're going to see what I do. But it goes like this. Mother, she told me, be careful of the light. She set your heart on fire in the dark. She'll light, she'll flame, at your funeral pyre, while she curses your name in her heart. If it's love you're after, if it's peace that you want, there's no happy ever after for the man in his stars. He's searching for love in the dark of your heart. Father, you told me, be careful of the cheater. Just steal all your dreams while you sleep. But you cry in the night, 'cause you think that you need her. But your soul in the night that she sees. If it's peace you're after, if it's truth that you want, there's no happy ever after for the man in his thighs. You search in the shadows the meaning of love, and you tell me, my dear, what's left to roll? Is love in the dark? It won't fix his soul. But mother, she told me, be careful of the liar. She set your heart on fire in the dark. She'll lie, she'll flame at your funeral pyre, while she curses your name in her heart. Something like that.